Yeah, welcome to my CSC Orion tutorials. I would like to begin with, first of all, showing you how to import your bin general arrangements over into the Orion environment before you can begin your work. So I think the first thing we have to do is to create a file in our AutoCAD environment. Okay. Okay. We'll pick up the AutoCAD default, say open. Now, Orion understands, in order to import into Orion understands or should I say, yeah, three types of layers. One, it's your grid layer, which has to go in the X and Y direction. Your column layer, which must be a polyline, and also your text layer for labeling your grids. So we'll begin with a simple general arrangement. So first of all, I create my layers. Click on the layer properties manager, then click on new layer. Then our first layer, we call it grid. Then we can give it any color of our choice. And then we call our next layer text. Also give it a color of our choice. Then column. Then give it a color of our choice. Okay, then let's have maybe our beam outline, which isn't too relevant. Beam line. Then I give it a cyan color, then say OK. Then these are my layers. I'll make the grid current. Okay, then I close the layer property manager. Then I can start my drawing, or I can start my general arrangements. So I pick my line toolbar, and then I quickly prepare the grid layout. I'll just say 8 meters, and maybe I offset this by 4. Let's zoom to see the extent of our work. Okay, set 6 meters, then probably 1.5 meters. Okay, and we have our horizontal grids. This is 5 meters. Okay. Stretch. Okay. Now we have the balloons. I call them the balloons that will be on the to show the grid what the grid label is. So to do that, you pick on the circle. Okay. Then we'll move it from the tangent points down our edge to the end points of the lines. Okay. Select this again, copy selection. Okay. Now we create a single line text to label the grids. So select my text layer, then choose single line text. Okay, you can pick in there. Okay, then say this is C. Enter. Click elsewhere. Maybe we can cancel that. So it's too tiny, so we try to make it bigger. Okay, so we want it to be 250 millimeter. So it comes out quite brightly. The text doesn't necessarily have to be at the center, but just anywhere within the circle is enough. So, and copy this in there. Okay, this is my grid A, grid B, grid C, and grid D. Then should be grid 1 and grid 2. Okay, so remember the circle is on the grid layer. The grid line is also on the grid layer, and the text is a single line text with the layer text. Then after that, we insert our columns. Let's assume our columns are 225 by 225. Now Orion only understands polylines. It doesn't understand lines as for columns. So a rectangle is also a polyline. So we'll pick on our rectangle, then maybe click on anywhere, type D for dimension, the length of the column 225 by the width 225, enter. So that's our column. To get the central point, you can do it by any method to get your center line, your center point of the column. So selected, and I move it to the center of my grid. I have to change the layer of this back to column. Good. Then with this, I can copy it all the positions I want my columns to fall into. Okay. Then after that, we can create our beam line. Our beam line. Now, beam line is not recognized by Orion, but it will show in the background as a guide to guide us where our beams run. So we use line to create maybe a box where our grid will be, our beams will run. We have the grid beam on this point, on this point. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's assume this is, let me delete this first of all. Let's assume this is our general arrangement, our structural general arrangement, that after the architect has given us this layout, then we'll position our columns. Those are basic stuff we've done from our structural analysis, which I wouldn't go into details there, but let's take this as our beam general arrangement. So you have to understand again, your grid on grid layer, X and Y on grid layer, the balloon around it is also on the grid layer, the text on text layer, and it is single line text, not multi-line text. Don't make that mistake using multi-line text. I don't know what the outcome will be, but don't use it. And also, your grid shouldn't be on a polyline, it should be on a line, not polyline. Otherwise Orion would recognize it. The only thing Orion recognizes as a column is something that is on polyline, which is what we have here, and at some other locations too. So it's on the column layer. Fine. So with that, we can save can save. Okay, create a folder for it. We'll save it in any location of our choice and save it on my desktop and give it a name, say Orion tests. Okay, Orion tutorials. Okay, now you save it as a DXF. Any version of DXF can serve 2000, 2004, 2007, whatever it is. Orion will understand it. So click on DXF and say save. Then we can save this. Okay, it's already saved. We can close this. Say no. Yes, and that brings us to the end of creating your general arrangement from AutoCAD that Orion can understand. So this brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thank you.